This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do? This is another episode of the War Room. The War Room presented by Chiefs Focus, featuring PMAC. What up, man?
What's up? I'm feeling good, man. It was a wild week 3, especially Sunday night game. And man, I'm just feeling good, man. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm all right. A little tired, but I'm all right. It's what is it? Wednesday after Chiefs win.
Yes, Wednesday, September 25th.
Yeah, bro. It's as much controversy as there's supposed to be around this win.
Yeah.
In the words of the great movie Fast and the Furious, the original, innings winning.
Winning is winning. Exactly. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
Winning
is winning.
Period.
Exactly.
So that's where we're at. Today we got three different things we're going to talk about. And first, of course, we got That's News to Me. We have 3 standouts, and then we have
the 3 keys to beating the Chargers.
The Chargers, which is our next game.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, Jill. So anyway, just want to say to everybody, thank you for joining us today on another episode of the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. It's Wednesday, September 25th. This is the week 3 recap show. So you're going to join us today as we recap the action and also break down, as this said, and that's news to me, the standouts, and also how these things can also help us in beating the Chargers, because we got a lot of things to talk about with them coming up, because it's an AFC West showdown next week in LA at SoFi Stadium. So the Chiefs won another thrilling game on Sunday night against the Falcons, and we have the full breakdown as the team continues its quest to become the first team in NFL history to win three straight Super Bowls. Because remember, it's a long season, but we're starting off well. And let's begin with our first segment. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
That's news to me.
All right. So the Chiefs have had a solid start to the season with a 3-0 record, their best since 2020. That was the year that we were trying to repeat after winning that first Super Bowl after beating the 49ers. So they have secured a thrilling 22-17 victory over the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football with just 56 seconds left in the game and defending their 13-yard line with a 5-point lead, as you see here. Chiefs linebacker Nick Bolton made a crucial tackle on Falcons running back Bijan Robinson on 4th down, securing the win for Kansas City. Bolton led the Kansas City defense, rebounding from allowing an early touchdown to only give up 10 points for the rest of the game. They also held Falcons running back Bijan Robinson, as me and Brad said on the show last week, and we emphasized we needed to stop. They held him to just 31 yards on 16 carries. The Chiefs quickly responded with a touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes to Rashee Rice. Rice caught a career-high 12 passes for 110 yards and a touchdown. Despite a 54-yard field goal by the Falcons, they still couldn't close the gap. While the game wasn't perfect, Andy Reid praised the Chiefs' defense, especially Bolton, for making the game-clinching play when it mattered the most. This win also marked Patrick Mahomes' 77th career regular season victory, surpassing Tom Brady and Roger Staubach for the most wins through 100 starts in NFL history. On the defensive side, the Chiefs have extended their streak of holding opponents under 28 points in 24 games, the longest streak since 2009 and the third longest since 2000. In positive news, Coach Reid reported there was no injuries after the game. Also, the Chiefs, again, as I mentioned, haven't been 3-0 since 2020. And now the Chiefs are one of 5 teams that are 3-0 through after week 3's action, including the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and the Buffalo Bills. So, with that being said, the Chiefs will now focus on their upcoming divisional matchup with the LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium next Sunday.
I think it's interesting that you brought up that we haven't been like this since 2020. In 2020, to me, as I reflect on it, it was a good regular season, but of course it was marred by that abysmal Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, to me, I want to ask you if you felt the same way. Looking back on it, we kind of cakewalked through that season.
We did because it was a COVID year, and I still felt like that we still had a chance to pull it off, man. I just really think
I still did too, but it just felt like it was like the Chiefs were above everybody, and the Chiefs knew it, so they didn't play. Sometimes they didn't play to their full potential, and they still comfortably won. Like they were always ahead most of the time. Most of the time they were ahead. They didn't really have to worry about many comebacks and all that kind of thing. And when they did, they just did it, and they did it with minimal effort. And so that 2020 year felt like it was supposed to be greater than what it was. And honestly, these last couple games kind of feel like what 2020 as a whole felt like. Like, yeah, we're not blowing teams out like we did in 2020, 2018 or 2019. But we are winning, and we're winning comfortably.
Mhm.
Not necessarily blowouts, but we're making sure we get just enough to win and not have to worry about nothing else. Like it didn't I would have felt more comfortable with an extra touchdown.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about getting a touchdown and just
And
pulling away with it. We should have won 29-17 instead of
ag-
22-17.
agreed.
In my opinion. Yeah, man.
We both understand that, but bro,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Like all you have to do is worry about pulling out a win. And the defense,
Yeah.
at first it didn't feel like the defense was on point, but then you just saw them start clamping down. Like once Drake London and them started showing out, they wanted to start running the ball, and then we clamped down on that real quick. So shout out to the Chiefs, man. I hope this is where this is what starts this defense off to being like A1.
Yeah.
Because they on the road to do it.
Absolutely, man. And that's one of the things about it too with 2020. I've actually looked at the 2020 roster as the blueprint because the way they constructed and put together the 53-man roster, how I thought they were going to do it. Well, a mixture of 2020 and 2017, because you got to consider that Maggie was the full-time offensive coordinator that year. Because remember, he shared duties with Brad Childress the previous year. So anyway, I feel like everything is coming together, and it's just early, just like where everybody's asking what the complaints about, why Mahomes is not playing as good as he should, or Kelsey, or anything else like that. But I was going to get into all that later. But
we'll get into it later.
Yeah. But I want to speak on one of the things that I want to take away, which was Mahomes made some NFL history. As I mentioned, his 77th career victory as a starting quarterback on Sunday, moving him past Brady and Staubach for the most quarterback wins through 100 career starts in NFL history. And Mahomes has also passed Aaron Rodgers for the most touchdown passes with 224 through 100 career starts in league history. Mahomes will also make his 100th career start next week, and he'll still add to both records. And I was wondering, do you have that Juju touchdown that he threw? That was the last.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course. Let me see. Juju. I had it. Anyway, just keep going. I'll play it here in a second.
All right. But one of the things I wanted to show on the play was why Mahomes is so great. He is able to work with anybody. It doesn't matter if it's Rice. It doesn't matter if it's Kelsey or if it was Byron Pringle or Demarcus Robinson or whoever it was. He's like one of those great quarterbacks that is able to make everybody great around him. And on one of those plays, I wanted to explain to fans out there why Justin Watson is on the roster. I mean, we have another play of Watson, which shows why he's on the roster, but on the Juju play, the way he ran his route got enough time for Juju to get open in space so he could score that touchdown, to score that 22nd point. And you saw immediately him and Kelsey celebrate again like it was 2022. But also one of the plays shows you how great Mahomes does with other players. And it's just great to see why I'm glad to have Mahomes. Mahomes is one of the best of all time. He's able to work with any player, doesn't matter who it is. It's just all about getting in the rhythm and also working with those players. And that's why I'm glad to have Mahomes here.
I don't know what I did. I know we saw the Juju play, but I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, look, man, Mahomes, I think sometimes we overstate that Mahomes can make a star out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chiefs Kingdom can overstate that a little bit. However, seeing how he works with receivers, if a receiver can't work with Mahomes, I'm not saying Mahomes can make you 1,000-yard receiver if you're not one, but you could still get off with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. And if you can't, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Because he's always looking for somebody, always. And, he's not perfect. We know that, but he does his best to get the ball downfield. And if you can find a way to mesh your way of playing with his way of playing, you have a chance to be one of his trusted guys. And the Watson first down throw is what I'm talking about.
Right.
The Watson first down throw is what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah.
Watson has never been a 700-yard receiver.
No.
However, he's there in the clutch. Rice, there in the clutch. In fact, he said post game, Rashee Rice said, "I just want to be where he needs me to be." That's what he told. I can't even remember who it was. That was interviewing him, but that's what he told him. He like, look, if Pat needs me to be there, I just want to be there, and that's all you kind of got to do. You learn the plays, you run the routes. If that play breaks down, you just got to be where Pat wants you to be. And the only way to do that is to make sure you on the same wavelength with Pat Mahomes. So.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things about Pat, man. And you just got to be on the same page with him. And this speaks to like one of the things where I feel like that's why I'm going to ask this question later on as I break this down to as part of my other points on this News to Me segment. Now with that, you got to also get the running backs involved. And Pat has also done well with throwing the running backs out of the backfield, like the McKinnons of the world, also guys in the past. I mean, he's worked with Charkandrick West. He's worked with Spencer Ware, Damian Williams, LaShawn McCoy, so many great guys. Darrell Williams. I mean, there's Clyde who also could come back in week 4. But I feel like this could also be added as part of the game plan, and also ask the question and actually give you my theory going forward about with Kelsey. And I was trying to bring it up on the comments on the First to 10 show last night.
I did see that.
Yeah. So this is what I was going to bring up here. So the Chiefs averaged 4.2 yards per carry with their running backs without Pacheco. Our undrafted guy, Carson Steele, earned his first career start and proved the Chiefs' faith in him. On 17 carries, he rushed for 72 yards and kept the chains moving all night. Eighth-year running back Samaje Perine also rushed for 25 yards on 6 carries, which is really good. I think that was almost like close to like almost 5 yards a carry almost, but like 4.5 or whatever. But anyway, this brings me all to say that we all know and heard the news that the Chiefs have officially signed Kareem Hunt to the active roster, and they have waived Keontae Ingram, but I expect Ingram to get back on the practice squad. But the offense will become now more efficient now with Hunt officially back on the active roster. And Hunt can impact the game by rushing or catching the ball, being that dual threat running back he was known for. Versatile running backs like Kareem Hunt or like the Jared McKinnons from the past. They force defenses to be ready for anything and allow offenses to keep their best playmakers on the field in any situation, and still may handle, those early red zone short yardage snaps for now going into Sunday. But this is going to allow Kareem Hunt to get back to doing what he did best in our offense and shine. So it's going to be exciting to watch those guys on Sunday.
I agree. I do think obviously the best years are ahead of Carson Steele. He just got on the field this year, and the way he runs, he minimizes head-on tackles, like straight up tackles. He's very, very elusive in that way. Reminds me a lot of some guys we've had in the past, but Kareem being back, I think here's my thing. I think it'll be a good thing. Obviously, Kareem's back home. He's trying to, be a part of something that something that he feels that he missed out on that could have been something great.
He's hungry.
He's hungry. I think things might have been different had he been on that 2020 team. 20 the 2020 the COVID year team.
2020, yeah.
2020 2021 year. I think things would have been a little bit different had he been on that team, and I think we all understand that. But as he comes in this door and as he hits the field, I know Chiefs fans are going to be ecstatic, but I would suggest tempering expectations here, because he isn't 22 years old, 23 years old, 24 years old. He could have that same thing that he had before, but we also don't know. But hopefully we'll see the same kind of offensive line play that we saw last week, because if we do, I think Kareem and Steele could really, really take advantage of the things that we see.
Oh, absolutely.
Really take advantage of it. So
yeah, man. I've seen the film from last year. I think he's still slippery in space, still shows that good vision between the tackles. And if you look at it, all 9 of his rushing touchdowns last season came from inside the 20, inside the red zone. And I think he's a little more physical pass protector than Jared McKinnon was, especially for his size. And he has great technique, and he's a natural hands catcher. And he can run routes out of the backfield. So I know he's going to play with outstanding effort, willing to give extra blocks in space when he doesn't have the ball. So I really think that Kareem has that ability, man, still.
That's the part that's the big one. The 2 parts, the red zone scoring, hopefully, and then the blocking. He was able to do that in his rookie year. So that's one of those things that just doesn't go away. You don't just lose it. If you can see it, you should be able to do it. So I think he has experience doing that, and that'll help Mahomes out with the passing. I don't know how I'm gonna tie this in with the offensive line. I don't know how they're gonna move forward with the left tackle, Suamataia, or what's his name? Come on,
Wanya Morris.
Wanya Morris.
Yeah.
Looks like they're moving forward with Wanya. But even if they did decide, if something happened to Wanya, because he had some injuries early in the preseason, if something did happen, Kareem would be an extreme help on that aspect too, because he'll help with pass protection as far as like taking those fake handoffs, and then also chip blocking. He's been real good at that. He was real good at that, especially in 2018.
Yeah.
So I think Kareem could be a lot to deal with coming back. I really do, and I hope it just turns out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is why I have that theory, like I was trying to explain last night. I believe there's a chance that the Chiefs could be saving Kelsey for the postseason, or if this is indeed his final stages of his career, his reduced role probably has nothing to do with his age or them saying, oh, he's about to be out the door because he's with Taylor and in Hollywood or whatever. If you look at the whole picture, it's a long season. We have a week 6 bye. After that, it's a long season. You want your best weapons healthy going into the postseason after that week 6 bye. So what if I were to tell you his reduced role is similar to Tony Gonzalez in his final years in Atlanta, or Jason Witten in Dallas when Dez Bryant became the number 1 wide receiver? This is similar to what's going on between Kelsey and Rice, right? So what if this role reduction is in favor for the run game going forward with Steele, Pingrine, and now Hunt back? And you got CEH who could still return from IR in case if one of those 3 get hurt, and Pacheco could be back in time for the postseason. Additionally, consider this, man. They said that he'll be probably out for 68 weeks. I anticipate, especially with the week 6 bye, Pacheco could be back between week 10 or week 11 to provide the Chiefs with a more balanced rushing attack.
So let's talk about this Kelsey thing. Let's unfold.
All right.
Let's unfold it.
Let's go.
Kelsey is not a spring chicken anymore.
No.
And we're used to him being an old guy already because he's what, 34?
He's about to be 35 in October.
That's old for a tight end. And for him to be doing this in his 30s is kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts.
I mean, he's still crossing guys out there on the field. Yeah. And Tony Gonzalez played until he was like 36, 37. Antonio Gates as well. Jason Witten still kept playing. That's why I say Jason Witten, because I remember 2014, that same year, where the catch that should have been called a catch for the Cowboys, in my opinion, even though I don't like the Cowboys like that. Sorry, Brian. But it's just that he still had 700 yards that year. He still had good hands. And he still was good enough to go to the Pro Bowl and still being known as one of the most reliable and top tight ends in the league, still going into his 13th season that year.
It doesn't have, to me, he doesn't have to have a 1,000-yard season anymore.
No.
Like what everybody's talking about, what's wrong with Kelsey? Nothing.
Yeah.
He's just 35 years old, bro. Like I stopped playing football because of bad knees, okay? Early in the situation, 2 games in or whatever. But
right.
I tried to, go out on the field when I was like 30 and tried to mess around with some flag football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to mess around with some flag football. I did it for a few years, but boy, when them knees hit you. And then I was like, I had just got married at the time. So I had to think about injury,
everything,
and my job, and I had to think about
family.
Outside of it. Other things become more important in life as you get older.
Absolutely.
Travis Kelce is 35 years old. He is not just thinking about laying it all on the field. Okay. He got if he was single, maybe. He got a woman now. A woman. And yes, I was thinking in the aspect of, hey, I need to make sure I'm able to work. He don't have to worry about that. But as a man, he's going to worry about that. So
yeah,
then it's so many aspects that go into what it means to be a good football player. And Travis Kelce, whether this is the game plan or whether it's not, either way, there's no way he leaves this year with less than 500 yards.
Absolutely.
And if he does, what's the difference between him and Justin Watson? What's the difference between him and a lot of the Sky Moore or any of the others? Like, he could still contribute on this team, and that's all we're looking for is contribution. For real, he might not be the guy that he used to be, but there's still a place for him on the team. I mean, it just is.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's all I wanted to say. I know he's not the same he used to be, but none of us are the same as we used to be.
Nobody is. I'm not even the same as I used to be. I just turned 33, so I don't know what that's like. So anyway, there is one last part of the That's News to Me segment I wanted to talk about, and this could be really big for the Chiefs going into Sunday. So the Chargers star safety Darwin James has been suspended for the Chiefs and Chargers game due to repeated violations of player safety rules, including his actions in Sunday's game against the Steelers. He will miss the showdown against us this coming Sunday. In a letter to Darwin James, NFL Vice President of Football Operations John Runyon expressed concern about a play during the Chargers and Steelers game. James was accused of making illegal contact with Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth by lowering his head and making forcible contact. Runyon warned James that continued disregard for NFL playing rules will not be tolerated, and substantial penalties are warranted for repeated violations intended to protect player safety. He will be eligible to return to the active roster for the Chargers on September 30th, following the game that takes place September 29th. So therefore, the Chargers may have to play against the Chiefs on Sunday without Justin Herbert, who had to leave the game on Sunday in the third quarter, Joe Alt, their star rookie right tackle, Rashawn Slater, their star left tackle, and now Darwin James.
Man, see, and we look at it like, hey, this will be a cakewalk for the Chiefs. Nah,
No.
historically, it's not when all those guys are out. However, this could be the opportunity, a springboard for Kelsey or a springboard for Noah Gray. This could be one of those things because Darwin James is normally posted up on those tight ends. He's normally that's normally his primary the guy to hold on, at least for the Chiefs in the past. And so that could open up the field for a guy like Noah Gray or Travis Kelsey. I mean, it depends on who that is. And that
over the middle of that field. Oh yeah, man.
And then it opens it up for a guy like Kareem downfield. I mean, catching downfield.
And now you got Worthy, who kind of resembles like what you had with Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt back in 2018.
I was going to suggest that Worthy is still there. Like, I mean, you just got to get him in space. Like, you can't have him pinned. I know what we want to do, and he needs to grow a little bit. So having him pinned up against against out of bounds is probably not the best bet. But being able to get him in space is the best part. That's what you need to do. And then once you get him in space and he only has one defender to outrun, please, he will do it.
Yeah.
So we got to figure it out. It looks like we got a comment. I'm sorry, guys. Ruben, what's up, Ruben?
What's up, Ruben?
I apologize to you, sir. But anyway.
Yes, sir.
But yeah. That's how that works. That's how I feel about that.
It is going to be big for us, man. So we take advantage of those miscues, which I'll explain later in the final segment. So anyway, so moving on to our next segment, and this one is 3 standouts from Sunday night. As you guys know, the Chiefs secured their 3rd win of the season, and 3 players really impressed me with their standout performances and playing a vital role in the team's thrilling season win against the Falcons. While there is no I in team or in standouts, these players and the crucial plays they made were instrumental in the team's strong performance. And here are the 3 players who, in my opinion, were instrumental in the Chiefs' victory on Sunday night against the Falcons. And let's start with Nick Bolton stepping up to make the game-sealing tackle. Nick Bolton made a crucial tackle on Falcons running back Bijan Robinson, preventing him from reaching the line to gain on a 4th and 1 with less than a minute left to go in the game. This play effectively secured the victory for Kansas City. It occurred inside the Chiefs' 15-yard line, as you guys can see there, and it was the 2nd consecutive series in which Kansas City stopped its opponents on a 4th down inside its red zone. The Chiefs achieved a rare feat by becoming the first team to make multiple 4th quarter 4th down stops inside their red zone on Sunday since the Bengals did so in Week 6 of last season. Despite his early season difficulties, the Chiefs' Mike linebacker redeemed himself by ending Atlanta's comeback hopes with a memorable 4th down tackle for a loss right there, as y'all can see on Robinson. And we said last week on the show, you got to stop him, number 7. And Bolton appeared to be back in top form, recording 8 total tackles, 3 of which were behind the line of scrimmage.
Man, I tell you what, that first 2 weeks of football, was tough for Bolton. Like everybody was all over, bro. Oh boy, like they was all over him. Ruben said, "Put respect on Bolton's name."
That's right.
They were all over him. Like, bro, some people just got to warm up to the season, and he warmed up really well because dude was a beast in this game.
Yeah,
he
man.
was, and he sniffed that thing out real quick and was able to find his way to get to the running back. And I don't know why we ever doubted him, but we did, because Bolton's just one of those guys that finds his way to the ball.
Yeah,
he always has been since we drafted him. So it's just one of those things. Sometimes you got to warm up to the season, and the first game tends to be rough. But yeah, Bolton was amazing in this game.
Absolutely, man.
And I thought he really redeemed that week 1 situation because everybody was all over him all week.
And like I said, if he had just stopped lightly on, like as soon as he caught the ball right at the line, he caught it before he took off for those 49 yards. Nick Bolton will actually have a very decent coverage stats for a linebacker, and it will resemble 2022 because remember, he had like an interception. He only had like a 90 passer rating allowed, which is still good for a linebacker of his caliber, man. And people will always bring up the height with him because he's like 5'11", 6 feet. But for a linebacker like Bolton, bro, height doesn't matter. It's all about the heart and the relentlessness the relentlessness that you saw on Sunday. There's no question about his range on the field, man. I mean, he's a guy who can move all over the field. He knows the coverages. He understands exactly, Ruben, like he's just a football player, man. He understands what the offense is about to do. You know what he has to do. He gets his guys involved. That's a linebacker that every defensive lineman should wish that they had. You know what I mean? And Bolton is still learning the coverages and everything like that, but he still shows that he got the tools, man. He can cover zones. He has good depth and speed, enough good speed, and can make plays from sideline to sideline. I mean, he needs to anticipate and time his moves when breaking on routes, and if he takes care of that, he'll be fine. But he is rarely asked to rush, the quarterback too and attack the backfield, but he operates, as y'all saw, as a spy from the middle linebacker and will blitz through the A gap, and that's resulted in 5 quarterback sacks through 44 career regular season games and 8 quarterback hits and 17 hurries, bro. So I mean, guys, I just think we've been spoiled. Of course, man, there's nothing wrong with admitting it, man. It's all good, Ruben. That's the thing, though. But he's still one of the best inside linebackers in the NFL, and you can make the case for Bolton as Defensive Player of the Year based on his play so far, but you can bet he's motivated more to perform well in the remainder of his contract year as it expires after this year.
Bolton is making it difficult to allow him to walk after the end of the season. That's what you're supposed to do, to be honest. I feel like, especially with the cap probably going up next year significantly, I heard it might go up an extra 20%. I don't know for sure. But with that being said, I think we'll have one more, unless there's something that they do with the extra money, like give Mahomes extra or whatever, based on however they do it, as far as turn some of his money into guarantees. There's things that Brett Veach and them can do to add more money, but the likelihood of them signing Bolton and Trey Smith are slim to none. Okay, they're slim to none. It's either gonna be one or the other. It's probably gonna be one or the other. And the whole situation, I think they're gonna keep Trey because you got to protect your biggest asset. But to be honest, it's all about Nick Bolton making it the most difficult decision that they have to make. And so far he's been doing it. Shout out to Nick Bolton, the true son, MIZ.
Absolutely. So with that, we got our next standout, and that's none other than defensive back Chamarri Conner continuing to make impactful plays on the field. A week after scoring a touchdown from a fumble recovery and making a crucial sack in the fourth quarter, Chamarri Conner continues his impressive performance on Sunday, grabbing his first interception of the season. The interception was made possibly by quarterback pressure from defensive tackle Tershawn Turk Wharton. It was just one of Conner's many contributions that night. As you can see here, intercepting the ball, Chris Jones was facing double team. Wharton uses just one-on-one matchup and power rushes the back to hit Cousins' arm, and Chamarri catches the stimulated punt. Great collective defense. And on that night, he also led the team with 10 tackles and deflected 2 passes. And as you can see, Conner showcased his versatility by playing in various positions, man. Spending 25 snaps in the slot, 15 in the box, 6 single high free safety, and 4 along on the line of scrimmage. Lined up as a defensive lineman.
And I couldn't believe he was able to locate that ball because it was. I saw he was. It seemed like he might have been a little late to get over to where he was supposed to be in the coverage. However, with Turk being able to get his hands on that ball and make it flutter like that, boy, he was able to get there and make that happen, which is absolutely amazing because we needed it at that time too.
Absolutely, man. And since week 14 of last season, and that was the game where Conner picked off Josh Allen, and since then, he's allowed an impressive 64.1 opposing quarterback rating. No touchdowns allowed his way and 2 interceptions. That one he got on Cousins, and the one he got on Josh Allen in week 14. That was the one where Kadarius Toney stepped on the line, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest
But
is history.
yeah, but to me, looking at Conner and what the Chiefs have, especially the way Brian Cook has been playing, he's really been impressive. So I want to say this. I think this also could help with Nick Bolton and maybe Trey's situation going forward. And they might have to make a decision with Joe Tooney, with his money. He's expected to make some money next year, right? So I was going to say, I think the Chiefs have their 3 safeties going forward next year. Oh, absolutely. Turk is putting in work. They got their 3 safeties for the position next year. They'll add a 4th one in the draft, in my opinion. This is what look at it like this. Brian Cook is your traditional single high Earl Thomas like safety, Ed Reed type, while Justin Reed is our starting strong safety. However, there has been some divisions among folks in the Chiefs kingdom regarding his performances and everything, especially you saw him give up that 50-yard play to Kyle Pitts and everything. So it wouldn't surprise me if they decided not to bring him back next season in favor of the fact that they drafted Jaden Hicks. Hicks excels in various things just like Reed does, but he surpasses him in coverage ability and embodies the true definition of the enforcer, just like Cam Chancellor was, and even Eric Berry was for us. And that leaves Conner as the hybrid safety. Eric Berry was a hybrid safety, but then there's also Tyrann Mathieu, and now, as I mentioned, who I compared Chamarri Conner to last week, Malcolm Jenkins. Conner supports the run like a linebacker. He covers like a corner, rushes like a defensive lineman, and has a serious nose for the football, like as you've been seeing there in those games since week 14 to now. It's like if the ball is near him, he will grab it, and he's becoming a guy that's fun to watch regularly to me.
I don't think they have any. I don't think they were bringing him back anyway. I'm going to be honest with you. There's not enough money to go around. That's number one. Number two, he's closer to 30. Number three, you got so many other places that you could be putting that money to. I never thought that he would be back next season.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's the wham bam thank you ma'am situation. We brought you in and you did an amazing job, but we're not bringing you back.
No.
And it's basically Tyrann Mathieu. And the thing that's happening is, here's the situation. It might have been a rinse and repeat situation for upcoming future, but when you got young guys like Cook and Chamarri Conner and Jaden Hicks, now you got all young guys. You don't need that veteran presence anymore because now you got You got Cook that has now been around Tyrann Mathieu. Hold on. Was he? He didn't play with Tyrann Mathieu, did he? No,
Ooh,
Cook.
no,
No,
no.
he didn't play with Tyrann Mathieu. You got you got Cook, who was able to learn from Justin Reed as the safety for 3 years. 3 years. This will be the third year.
Mm-hmm.
He should be able to take over that position now. He is now the veteran. He is now the guy that you should look to make sure that this team, this position group moves forward. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to get a veteran guy in here until your young guys become veterans, and then they repeat the cycle. They
Mm-hmm.
repeat the cycle. And I think that's what they've been trying to do. And they didn't, I felt like they tried to do it before with Tyrann Mathieu and the guy that's with the Browns now.
Juan Thornhill.
Juan Thornhill. They tried to, but that injury really kind of. I feel like Thornhill was never able to recover from that injury like he wanted to, as far as performance is concerned. And then they just had to make a business decision. So if Cook can keep going on the trajectory that he's going, I don't think Justin Reed will be back.
No, absolutely not.
We'll keep it moving.
Absolutely. And last but not least, my third and final standout from Sunday's game, none other than Rashee Rice, who hauled in the career high 12 catches on Sunday. He had an outstanding game with those 12 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. This marks his third consecutive game with at least 75 yards. His 110 yards on Sunday is the second highest in his career. Through 3 weeks, Rice is one of only 3 receivers, along with Nico Collins and DK Metcalf, to have multiple 100-yard games. So as you break down on the video here, Thiz, on his touchdown, this play here is a long developing play without the need to block. Worthy evades his defender. Juju pushes his push vertically, ideally to start out his route just after Rice has completed the motion for that easy touchdown there. So give him enough room.
You saw where Rice was following Juju, and then he broke off the route. And then I love when I tell you Andy Reid's play design, like the layers, because he was able to. You had a guy going long, you had a guy going mid range, and you had Rashee going the short route, and they were able to absolutely take advantage of that. And Rashee, just being Rashee, he's been able to find the open field when he can. Because that, if they had it closed in quicker, that wouldn't have been a touchdown. So shout out to Rashee. He said in the post game interview, that he wants to be wherever Mahomes wants him to be, and that's how you become a star in this league. Just being with that, taking. You said it earlier, where Rashee might be taking over where Travis Kelce used to be. Just being where Pat needs him to be, period.
Absolutely. Just like what Quentin said on the show last night. I think that's what's been happening right now, because you got 2 guys who can do the same thing. They'll dominate you over the middle. And that's the thing. Rice has become one of Mahomes' most reliable targets. He's caught 61 out of 80 targets over his last 9 games, including the previous postseason. And now I think he leads the NFL in catches with 24 and is second in the NFL in receiving yards with 288.
Shout out to him.
Absolutely, man. And, he's just 792 yards away from surpassing Dwayne Bowe's record of 2,017 receiving yards for the most receiving yards by a Chiefs player in their first 2 seasons. His 103 catches are the third most by a Chiefs player in his first 2 years. So he's in the company in catches with Bowe and Tyreek Hill. He needs to surpass them. And his 9 touchdown catches rank 11th all time for Chiefs player in their first 2 seasons. So his performance in the first 2 seasons is impressive. He has the potential to be mentioned alongside like top receivers like the Devontae Adams, as I compared him to before he came out of SMU. And there's also D-Hop. Yeah. I've seen Adams and D-Hop play in person when I was working at Arrowhead before, and I see similarities in Rashee's game. And I believe he's an outstanding football player, and he can accomplish what those guys have done in our scheme.
And look, he keep his nose clean. He could really be. he could. I'm saying this because it sounds like it could be sacrilege. That's why I'm stuttering a little bit. He could be one of Kansas City's best receivers all time if he sticks around.
He could, yes. I'm not
Yeah.
lying. You ain't lying there, yeah.
I just believe that, like, you got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time that puts his trust in you to get open where you're supposed to get open. If you keep earning his trust and being able to be the guy that he looks to, man, just the sky's the limit for you. So shout out to Rashee.
Absolutely. Shout out, man. So now that leads us to our final segment of the show. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that first down here, man. Like, woo. Just the fact that he can find space over the middle and it's hard for a defensive back to keep up with him. It also speaks about his physicality at the line of scrimmage. That he's physical at the line of scrimmage and he's quick with his first step. He runs a 4.52 40, but he runs a 1.49 10-yard split. That's faster than Tyreek Hill at the line of scrimmage. Yes, Tyreek Hill runs the 4.3, but that first step, that's why he's so deadly off the line of scrimmage. And now with Worthy and Rice, with those free releases at the line of scrimmage, that's why it's going to be difficult. And yes, it should open up for Kelsey, but we'll see how everything goes forward with that. But
I love having Juju in the offense with Rashee and with Worthy, because having those three guys there plus Kelsey, who eventually I believe will get worked in, it's you can mix match a lot of things. You can put him on the outside, you could put him on the inside, you could put him in the slot, and you can do the same things with Juju. You can do the same things with Justin Watson. Yes. You can do the same things with those guys because please stay out of trouble. Yeah, man. Once the legal process is over, I think he could keep his nose clean. He could really be one of the guys that ends up around the Ring of Honor in Chiefs Kingdom. I really truly believe that. I didn't know exactly how he would be coming out of college. When they said SMU, when they said Rashee Rice, I was like, I know in college he had some, he wasn't the greatest catcher, but he has worked on that tremendously this year. Tremendously. So shout out to him. Anyway, let's go on to our last segment.
All right. And in our final segment, as we guys know, we talked about Kareem earlier in the show, man. Yeah. Hey, Kareem is going to help us out in two ways: running or catching the ball, similar to Jerry McKinnon, but he's more of a runner, but he also has the ability. So he's a dual threat guy. So Kareem is going to help out the offense big time.
Yep.
So in this final segment, as you guys know, the Chargers, who are 2-1, are hosting the Chiefs, who are 3-0 at SoFi Stadium in LA in Week 4. Defending back-to-back champions are looking to stay undefeated as with a victory against their rival led by Mr. Khakis himself, Jim Harbaugh. So before this game plays out, and yes, Mr. Khakis.
Mr. Khakis, that's hilarious.
I'm just saying, man. So yeah. So anyway, before this game plays out this night, we'll examine the 3 keys for the Chiefs to beating the Chargers going into Sunday. And I think that starts with if Herbert does play despite what happened to him in the game, or Tyler Heineke, if he gets to start, we have to make them uncomfortable. So the Chargers will be without their starting left and right tackle, and they may be also missing their star quarterback, Justin Herbert, who re-aggravated his ankle midway through the third quarter in their loss to the Steelers. Coach Harbaugh had planned to take Herbert out of the game at the first sign of a limp or any injury flare-up. Heineke played in relief of Herbert. This situation puts pressure on the Chiefs' pass rush to disrupt either quarterback, either if Herbert plays or Heineke if, Harbaugh is getting a game plan to try to stop us, because we don't know Harbaugh like that. And it's also on the Chiefs secondary to prevent any big plays from happening, because it'll be one of those games like, oh, we should get them, but they might shock us. And that actually happened when originally we were supposed to play the Chargers when they had Tyrod Taylor. Then all of a sudden, Herbert made his debut, and oh snap, he made things interesting. So limiting the effectiveness of both Herbert if he plays and Heineke starts with preventing them from using their legs to make plays, especially out of the pocket, because that's what they can do too. This means stopping them from taking off and running or escaping the pocket to make off-schedule plays. I think Chiefs third-year linebacker Leo Chenal's and even second-year defensive end Felix Anudike-Uzomah's speed and athleticism could be crucial in achieving this. And I wish you had that video of that sack by FAU, bro, because he lined up in the wide 9 look, just like what Frank Clark did in the past.
Hold on. Why don't I have that one anyway? Continue, man. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. But I think him line up in that wide 9 suits him better and the athletic ability to be the best at that ability. And as you saw, and if you've seen that sack, Tranquil had to deal with the left tackle, and he left Felix unblocked and delivered that big forced hit on Cousins that forced that fumble. But keeping either quarterback in the pocket requires more than just keeping them in the pocket. It would also require keeping constant pressure to keep either Herbert or Heineke from getting into a rhythm on Sunday. And keep this in mind.
I don't know what just happened.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So keep this in mind,
Right.
that Heineke, Taylor Heineke, who could be the starter this Sunday, he doesn't perform well under pressure, especially since Slater and Alt are expected to miss Sunday's game. Heineke has a passer rating of 61.5 with 1,400 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions in 31 games when under pressure since 2021.
Here's the thing. I do believe that I wish I did have that FAU thing. I had it, but I don't know what didn't upload here. Yeah, it said it failed. But bro, FAU could get off on this game. Especially considering that both of their ends are gone, left and right, so he can come from either side. Also, because you're talking about, I believe Justin Herbert's gonna play. He's almost trying to, it almost like he's trying to be like the next Brett Favre or whatever. I don't know why he would want to do that, because he was injured. What year was that? Was that 2 years ago? He was injured
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Because I remember when Dana in 2022 in that Thursday night game, he put a big hit on his ribs. Yeah,
and his ribs were, well, whatever. But he was already injured from the game before. Yeah. And I don't know. I get what he's doing, but I don't know why in the world he wants to be like the Iron. Does he want to be the Iron Man of the NFL? I don't know. I couldn't tell you what's going on with him and why he wants to do that. I respect him for it, but it ain't helping you none, man. It's not. He needs to just sit out, but that's up to him, man. I shout out to Justin Herbert, but this should line up perfectly for not only the Chiefs tight ends, but for the Chiefs pass rush in general.
Absolutely.
Not just from other positions, but just the front four.
Mm-hmm. And I think that in this next part, which I think this could also help us too, because this guy will also be part of something in part of their offensive game plan, not just also what he does for them and his main job as running back, but also a part we could exploit in his game, and that's keeping Chargers running back J.K. Dobbins contained, because I'm glad you got that T.J. Watt sack video, because Dobbins is in that video. I'll explain why before you show that. So he's 5'10", 216 pounds. J.K. Dobbins has become a versatile option for the Chargers. He leads them with 324 yards from scrimmage and 2 total touchdowns over the season's first 3 games. He's a powerful runner with exceptional balance, foot quickness, and lateral agility. He can shrug off defenders and gain yards after contact. His vision and running skills allow him to score long touchdowns. But if you show that Watt video, if you got that sack from last week. One weakness we can exploit is his inconsistency in pass protection, as you just see there. While he puts in the effort, his technique sometimes falters, leading to late reactions against rushers and allowing pressure on the quarterback, as you just saw in that play there. There's Dobbins there. Also, then you also see that on that right tackle side, Joe Alt allowed that, but Alt will not be available those. But that's also crucial to key number one, as I mentioned. But that's
look at it. It's just pure speed rush. It's just pure speed rush. There was no bull rush or anything there. He just beat Alt off the line.
Yeah, man. So dealing with a guy like Dobbins that has those issues in pass protection, as you just saw there, he fell on the ground. Just like we had to deal with Bijan Robinson last week, Dobbins has been a crucial playmaker for the Chargers. As they did last week against Robinson, the Chiefs need to be mindful of Dobbins' impact as both a runner and a receiver.
Agreed. I think, like I told you, I think that having your left tackle and your right tackle being out, I think that you should search for opportunities where guys like FAU can get completely involved so it can boost his confidence level. Chris Jones, he got to get off, and he gonna get off. So I believe that, and then this is going to also be able to get guys like Justin Reed and even a guy like who we haven't seen do brush the passer a lot, Brian Cook, get off as far as the pass rush is concerned. So I expect Spags to be all over the place with this game plan, especially with those two ends, those two tackles. I'm sorry, missing. So
yeah, absolutely. And finally, last but not least, the final key that could help the Chiefs winning: protect Patrick Mahomes and the football. The Chargers have the 6th best ranked run defense, so it won't be easy to get the ground game going against them. We also have to deal with the pass rush duo of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, who place a premium on playing close to making. So it places a premium for us to having mistake-free football as possible in the passing game. The Chargers will be without safety Darwin James due to his suspension. Also, the Chargers lost to the Steelers due to penalties in the second half, which gave Mike Tomlin's crew the momentum to find a way to beat them last week. The backbreaker for the Bolts defense came over the midpoint of the fourth quarter when the Steelers scored that 55-yard touchdown pass from Justin Fields to Calvin Austin to put the game out of reach. And as you can see here, this could be Xavier Worthy all day right here. Oof. That play right there. The Chargers allowed the Steelers 346 total yards of offense, and the Steelers converted half of their 14 third down attempts. So that's 7 out of 14. They converted half of those on the Chargers. So accordingly, the Chiefs' offensive line must consistently give Mahomes a clean pocket for the Chiefs to succeed on Sunday. It would also be necessary for Mahomes and the skilled players on Sunday not to commit any turnovers.
I definitely would love to see a game with no turnovers. No doubt, no denying that. I would love to see a game with no turnovers. Whatever. But you said Worthy on that play, and I could see Worthy, but my mind went to either Rashee or Juju. I saw that. Only reason I don't know if I want to put, as long as he's high up there where it's only safeties getting him, the last thing I want to do is put Worthy down there with linebackers. No way. They will fold him like an accordion, and we don't want that. So, but if you could scheme it to where he could find space in that middle of the field, absolutely, you take care of that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I feel like they'll get everything together. These skilled players,
Yeah.
they've been working with each other. It's always important to work with them. But also that's why I emphasize the offensive line, because this is the thing. I haven't given up hope on my dude Kingsley
No.
Suamataia, but Morris started at left tackle playing all 74 snaps with the starting unit. And last Sunday night, he looked like an NFL left tackle. Morris, he kick slides easy to protect the pocket edge. I mean, he has the lateral quickness to shield pass rushers and the strength to hold against bull rushes, but he can still struggle with the countering pass rushing moves. But Morris, who is 23, he will also turn 24 on October 10th. Is coming off his first season as a starter in 4 games, and he's still learning the fundamentals of his position, but he has shown promise so far, and he's provided capable of protecting the blind side for one of the NFL's best offenses. So got to give him a shout out to what he did last week. Keep it up, bud.
Absolutely. He's making the most of his opportunity. Even though he wasn't chosen, to start, he's now in there, and now he's doing his best job that he can. So hey, shout out to old boy for sure. Does that mean it's over for Suamata? Yeah, absolutely not. It's just one of those things that right now this is the best route because the Bengals defensive end, I don't know why his name's escaping me, but
Trey Hendrickson.
he was all over Suamata. He made him look like a rookie.
I knew that was going to happen, man. I knew
that was a welcome to the NFL moment. So, but anyway, as we are ready to end the show, is there any closing remarks for you, my friend?
I just want to say to everybody, thank you for joining us for this week's show. The Chiefs will look to stay unbeaten in Southern California as they face their divisional adversary on the road for the first AFC West matchup this year. After that, the team will return to Arrowhead for Monday Night Football against a familiar former AFC West foe, Derek Carr, and the New Orleans Saints, featuring the return of the Honey Badger. Former Chiefs star safety Tyrann Mathieu returns. So watch the Chiefs take care of business in the next 2 games before the Week 6 bye, and we'll see you guys again the next time we get on for the War Room with PMAX. So thank you, guys.
We appreciate everybody for listening, and thank you, Chiefs. Thank you, Ruben. We appreciate you commenting. Anybody watching, please start commenting because we love to hear your feedback.
Absolutely.
But for PMAC, for me, for Chiefs Focus, we out. Peace.